everyone, this is Herman from Fuzzy Baguette, and today I'm here to showcase you our brand new Blender add-on, which is Backrooms Pro Generator. As the title says, Backroom Pro Generator is a backroom generator which is gonna allow you to generate backroom environments directly into Blender. Everything is generated procedurally through geometry nodes. It's very easy to use. I'm going to show you. First, we want to remove the camera and the cube, then press N to open the add-on display, and all at the bottom you should see your backroom add-on if you have installed it properly. Then, a lot of things, but we want to focus on the top part of the panel. You can choose which type of backroom you want to spawn. There are 4 types of backroom: the hotel, the lobby, the pool rooms, and the parking lot. We're gonna go with the lobby, the classic one, and generate it. Simply click generate, and in a few seconds, as you can see, everything has been generated. First, I'm going to show you how it looks. I'm going to activate the rendered viewport, and if I go inside, you can see I'm in EV engine, and directly it looks really nice. Everything is generated procedurally using GeoNodes, so each time you generate an environment, it's going to be totally different from the previous one. But then, can we customize this? Of course you can. Let me show you. You can simply select the block. As you can see, everything has been created inside a new collection. Select the BB backroom mesh and simply go into its modifiers. Here you got a lot of sliders. I'm not gonna go into details for all of these, but I'm going to show you the essentials. Basically, every single type of backroom has its own rules, its own architecture. You can disable the ceiling to see more easily what your backroom looks like. You can also hide the lamps to see even more easily. I'm going to disable the overlay, and now you can see properly your backroom. It's very small, of course, at the start. I'm going to increase its size. You can change its size by the y-axis and the x-axis. Then you have control over the height. If you increase it, it's going to grow taller, and you have control over the height variation, which is going to allow to add randomness into each room. As you can see, if I zoom in, it's easier to see with the ceiling. If I zoom in right here, the ceiling is pretty low, but if I go into this room, the ceiling is pretty high. I'm going to bring it back to normal, and then we got the density rooms. Basically, all these sliders, the one I'm selecting right now, control the density of each type of room to spawn. For example, if I increase the maze rooms, there is going to be much more maze rooms. Same for corridor. If I increase the amount of corridor, you can see there are more big corridors room. If I increase the empty hall, we're gonna have big empty halls like this, and if I increase pit room, we're gonna have more room with halls. You can also choose to have more or less walls, because by default, if you put 0, every single time 2 of the same type of rooms are next to each other, there won't be walls between them. But if you put 1, there is going to be walls between every single room, whatever types they are from. Then you got the door sliders, because basically every entrance can be a door or a non-door entrance, and you can choose the percentage of each of them. Then you got the pilar density. It can mostly be seen with empty halls. Let's remove all of that, because this is the space with the most pillars. Basically, you can choose if you want more pillars or not. Then you got a few options that allows you to customize the amount of props you have in every single type of backroom you have generated. I'm gonna skip them because they are not very important, but I'm going to show you the next ones. Next one is the dirt. You can increase the dirt to add some dirt texture through a noise node directly onto every texture. Of course, it's very heavy if you go with 1, but I think it looks nice when you go with just 0.2 or 0.3, because it breaks a bit of the repetitiveness of the pattern. Let me put everything back to normal to have a bit more natural backroom style. Then we got the lamp off. So basically, I'm hiding the lamps right now. The lamps are right there, and they all emit lights. They emit lights through their emissiveness, and they emit light through lightning that are here, as you can see. All the lighting are all tied together, linked together, and are following the ceiling. And you can, using the light density and the lamp offs sliders, customize the light. So yeah, with lamps off you can turn off a percentage of all the lights into the scene, and changing light density allows you to change how many of the lights currently have a lightning. Because by default, every single lamp will have its own light. As you can see, there is a light below every single one of them. So by changing the light density settings, you can choose to have less area lights below every single lamp. And then you can also toggle some fog and change its density to give a little bit more atmosphere at the cost of performance, of course. So that's all for the very first style, but there are 3 more. I'm not gonna show everything in details, but I'm going to show you the specificities of every single style. You can click on clear to simply destroy the backroom you've created, then select, for example, the next one, which is the pool room, and generate it. So we got our pool room. Let's remove the ceiling, let's hide the add-on display, and already you can see there is a lot of differences between this style and the previous one. Every style got its own architecture, its own rules. The pool rooms mix 2 types of rooms, which are the submerged rooms and the classic rooms. Let's do a couple of adjustments so that it looks a bit better. Let's increase the light power, and let's remove the strength of the world lighting. As you can see now, we are in a very different type of backrooms with a totally unique architecture. Of course, exactly like the previous one, you can change the settings to your liking. So for example, if I want to have more submerged halls, I can increase the amount. And if I want to have, let's for example, more changing cabins, I can increase it too. If I don't want to have submerged halls at all, I can just decrease it to 0. There is basically mostly the same settings. The props are different. The big difference with this style of backroom is mostly its architecture. Oh, I forgot, there is a very unique button inside this style in particular, which is water motion. Of course, as there is water inside this style, you can toggle this and the water would be animated. Then let's show you the next style, which is the parking lot. The parking lot is very different from the first two. You're gonna see it immediately. First off, very big difference with the parking lot is that everything is in order. There is very little randomness within this style because it's supposed to be like a parking, and a parking lot is very repetitive. So a very unique flavor of backroom with this one. And also this one have something unique too, which is the floors. You can now increase the floors number, and that way you can have several floors, which will automatically add a ramp and adapt the terrain to it. You can change the ramp spacing. By default is by 100 to 200. If I put 50 for example, it should add more ramps into the scene. There is also one unique texture effect to this environment, which is wetness. Wetness allows you, if you increase it, to add puddles of water directly onto the ground. Looks really, really nice. And if you want to see it with the ceilings, it looks amazing. I love this style of backroom in particular. Then, last but not least, the hotel. You're going to see the hotel also have a very unique style of architecture. It's mostly corridors, as you can see. There is nothing in between the corridors. If I go inside it, which is not as easy as the others, sorry, I'm having a hard time navigating. As you can see, it is basically a maze of corridors with an hotel theme. But there is a subtlety I'm going to show you. You can see it right there. There are some big rooms in between corridors. You might wonder what are these rooms, and from time to time, in between corridors, there is ballrooms. I'm going to show you the unique sliders you can find within this style. You can change the ballroom density if you want to have more or less ballrooms inside your map, and you can also change the banquet tables density if you want to have more or less banquet tables inside each ballroom. You can of course choose to disable the different props, and that's it. So now that you got your environment, what do you do? What can you do with this? Of course, you can simply put a camera and do an animation inside Blender and use it to make backroom videos either for YouTube or TikTok or Instagram, whatever you want. You are free to do whatever you want. All the assets within Backrooms Pro Generator are under CC0 license, which means that you can use it for whatever you want as long as you don't simply sell the assets. You cannot simply generate a room like I just did and give it away or sell it as a 3D asset. This is forbidden. But you can use it as you like for a video game, a custom animation, a render, whatever you like, you do you. Talking about video games, one of the strengths of Backrooms Pro Generator is we have made a custom engine export. I'm not gonna go super deep into details because I'm not a game engine expert. I've never used Godot, Unreal Engine or Unity. We've made some tests and it works, the export works. You can simply select the engine you want, Godot, Unity, Unreal Engine 5, or make a generic export, and everything will be automated. It should work directly. As we're not game engine expert, please, if you have any issue with the export, contact us, contact the support, we will fix it. I'm not gonna lie, it's not easy for us to simply test properly something we're not used to. But I can assure you, we've tested it. We've imported maps into all of these engines and every single time it works. But there might be bugs. So please, if you ever see any issue with the export, contact us. Or on the opposite, you can also contact us to say that everything is working fine. Actually, I would prefer that. So here we go, that's it for Backroom Pro Generator. I hope I've been helpful. This was Herman from Filthy Baguette, sorry again for the thick accent, and I hope to see you with the next plugin. Bye!